I work for Cisco Systems. I'm a social media marketing manager in a social media and digital department. Kind of hard to keep track of the name of the department. It changes kind of often. Anyhow, I'm going to talk about social media. Talk about more specifically what we do with it, how do we use it as part of our business strategy. And some terms you'll hear a lot are listening and engagement. That's really the focus of this presentation. And I'll give you examples of how we use different kinds of social media data. A little background on myself. Coming up on 7 years at Cisco. I've had a few positions there prior to my current role, my current team. I was a web project manager managing a few website areas on Cisco.com. I was also managing a marketing collateral production and publishing team for a few years. Prior to Cisco, I was a senior designer and design manager for a few other technology companies in marketing.
What's your college degree?
My college degree is in art.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Art from
Seneca. All of you with a strong artistic bent.
And actually, it's kind of interesting. In this role, I had no idea how much creativity would play a part in this role, which is really nice. I accepted and joined the team without really knowing exactly what it was going to be like. It's a fairly new team. So my art background, my design background, all those skills I can directly apply to this role. And I'll give you some examples of what that actually looks like. So that's kind of nice. But I have a degree in fine art from Santa Clara. Okay, so as you probably know, there are a lot of different kinds of social media sites, right? All designed to do different things. We as a company at Cisco, we use some of these sites, different sites for different purposes, and we have different priorities. We don't use every site to do everything, right? There's only so much we can handle, and there's only so many that our audience that we're interested in is on and using as well. So we have our priorities. Here on the left side, priority one are those sites that we own, starting with our website, Cisco.com, our blogs that are hosted on that site, our own forums, discussion forums, properties that we own. We have our own internal social network as well. It's called WebEx Social. We just started using that name about a month ago. So those are our priority areas where we focus on the most. But outside of that, we also focus on, as a second priority, and use quite extensively, the middle section there. We have a presence on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. Twitter alone, we have, gosh, I don't know, 40 plus Twitter handles, all used by different teams in the company. The company is fairly large, 70,000 employees and probably twice as many contractors around the globe. So a lot of different teams, a lot of departments, a lot of areas of the company that use social media. So we have 40 plus Twitter handles. We also have blogs, and we have a YouTube presence as well. We have quite a few videos on there, and some of them are pretty popular. Outside of that, there are other social sites that we use lightly for specific purposes. So one question that I get a lot, that we on my team get a lot, is why is social media important to Cisco? Right? What do you do with it? I think some people, even within our own company, have the perception that social media is about posting pictures of, I don't know, your food, your dinner, your babies, I don't know, your pets. But there's actually a lot of insights that we can gain from doing what we call listening to social media data. And we can take those insights and feed them back into our business strategy. And I'll give you a few examples of how we can actually use that data as we go along. But certainly different parts of the company are interested in social media data to meet their own objectives, their own team objectives. And that can vary from the analyst relations team, the brand team, the various product teams. They can all take advantage of this data and use it to meet their needs. So why social matters? It is the new, latest, and greatest way to collaborate and communicate with folks, not only our own employees, but also our customers, our partners, our analysts, our extended audiences that are interested in saying something about Cisco. It's very efficient, it's quick, and we can reach a broad audience very quickly. This slide here, this information and these terms are taken from a book called Groundswell. If you want to read up on social media and strategy and how to make use of it in a corporation, I recommend that book. There's a number of good ones, but that's one of them that we like. But anyhow, in this book they talk about different kinds of communication applied to social media. But one that we're going to focus on here is listening, the first one there. And listening is basically, could consider it monitoring, but it's mainly paying attention to what people are saying about our company, right? Whatever company that is, whether it's Cisco or some other organization, it's just paying attention to what people are saying, right? And who's saying it, and where are they saying it, when are they saying it, right? All these things, and you can start dividing up all this information into categories, right? Certain audiences like analysts, customers, prospective customers, competitors, right? So we want to hear that, we want to pay attention to it, and then make use of it. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of insights we can gain from listening to social media data. This shows some of them, but for example, we can hear about our competitors, what people are saying about our competitors and related products. We can get sales leads, people that are posting on Twitter saying, hey, can you recommend me a great router for my small business? Well, routers is one of the main things that we sell, so we would be interested in finding that person and saying, hey, maybe he wants to buy our products. What else? We get a lot of feedback on products, feature requests people will talk about on blogs or on Twitter. They would say, hey, it'd be great if this XYZ router could do this, right? So the product team would be interested in gathering this feedback and holding on to it and taking a look at it, maybe implementing it in the next version of the product. So numerous kinds of insights, numerous ways that we can use this data. Those are just some of them. There we go. So there are a lot of tools that we use that can be used to do stuff with social media. Right? Some of these are for publishing content. So if we want to say something about our latest product launch, we would use some tools to publish that message on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Some of these tools are for metrics and analytics, right? Analyzing the data, creating some graphs, visually displaying our findings, creating reports out of them. And there's some overlap between a lot of these tools. We're listing some of them there, Buddy Media and Sprinkler. One that I use and my team uses quite a bit for listening is Radiant 6. It's listed a couple places there. The name's actually changing to Marketing Cloud, and it's owned by Salesforce. Pretty big player, big company. So anyhow, we use a combination of these tools company-wide. But again, my team focuses on using Radiant 6 for doing what we call listening, that is paying attention to social media. I actually have a hard time keeping up with all these tools sometimes. Okay, so our listening starts with what we call ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So just to give you an idea of, in terms of volume of social media data that I'm talking about, referring to, on Twitter alone, we'll get anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 posts on Twitter in a week. Right, all saying something about Cisco, referencing Cisco somehow, some aspect of the company. So how do we, as a team, as a department, as a company, how do we begin to handle all this data? It's a lot of stuff out there. So one of the first things we've done is create what's called ABCs, that is identify actionable data, actionable posts, right? Something that someone says, we see it and we can do something with it. And I'll get into what those are. But ABCs, right, and also priorities assigned to those ABCs.